I've been thinking about Psalms this summer. So for the next few weeks, I'll be reflecting in this format on a different psalm each week. So today I've chosen Psalm 42. Listen to the version of Psalm 42 Nan Merrill has in Psalms for Praying. As a deer longs for flowing streams, so longs my soul for you, O beloved. My soul thirsts for the beloved, for the living water. When may I come and behold your face? Tears have been my only nourishment day and night, while friends ask continually, where is the beloved of your heart? All this I remember as I pour out my soul. How I knew your presence with me as I went out among the throng, proceeding to the house of prayer. With a loud voice we gave you praise and acclamation, and a multitude proclaiming gratitude and joy. Why are you cast down, O my soul? Why are you disquieted within me? My hope is in the beloved, my strength and my joy. O my soul, open the door to love. My soul is downcast within me. Therefore I remember you. From my mother's womb to maturity, through all the days of my life, deep calls to deep. At the thunder of your waterfalls, all your waves and your billows have washed over me. By day you lead me in steadfast love. At night your song is with me. Prayer from the heart of my heart. I say to the beloved, the blessed one, why have you forgotten me? Why go I mourning because of the oppression of fear? As with a deadly wound in my body, my fears rise up to taunt me, saying over and over, where is the beloved? Why are you downcast, O my soul? Why are you disquieted within me? My hope is in the beloved, my strength and my joy. O my soul, open the door to love. May these ancient emotional words touch our own hearts today. Well, as you can see, I'm outside. This is my backyard. I've never tried to do a sermon outside, so we'll see how it goes. There may be noises. We'll figure that out. Anyway, recently I came across a song about the year 2020 by Ben Folds. And in the song, he is musing about how many years we seem to be trying to fit into this strange one. He notes that with the pandemic, it's kind of like 1918. But with the economic strains, it could also be 1930. And then he notes it's like he woke up in the civil rights movement in 1968. Indeed, if you could say one thing about this year, perhaps it would be that it's been a lot. Do you even remember back to January and the devastating bushfires in Australia? Or the earthquakes in Turkey, the swarms of locusts in Kenya, the plane crashes in Iran or Pakistan? In April, there was mass murder in Nova Scotia. And just recently, you'll have heard about the port of Beirut explosion that killed hundreds, wounded thousands, and left hundreds of thousands homeless. And then there are all the smaller but strange, unprecedented things that have happened. There was this massive star that astronomers had been studying in the galaxy 75 million light years away, a galaxy that far away, and it just kind of disappeared. Now, the best explanation is that it collapsed into a black hole without first exploding into a supernova, but that's new. 2020 was also the year that gave us the giant hornets that some are calling murder hornets, the size of your thumb. There was the monkey that stole COVID samples from a lab in India and escaped for a while. Poland accidentally invaded the Czech Republic, a misunderstanding that thankfully was pretty quickly resolved. So, did I say it's been a lot? Now in Manitoba, we're looking forward to the end of the summer, to what a school year might be like, even as we've had our largest spike in cases in the pandemic thus far. These things have affected us all in some way or other, and then we all have our own individual and family concerns. Nothing about our lives feels simple now, if it ever was. And for those who deal with other physical or emotional or mental health challenges, it's exponentially complicated. Others struggle with conflict or addictions or isolation. And so if you are feeling overwhelmed, perhaps it's with good reason. I don't know if it's any comfort to you to know that others have felt this way before, but they have, over and over and over through the course of time. You might not know it from talking to your grandparents, if they were anything like mine, who seemed to be able to accept and deal with whatever circumstances was presented to them. But it's not because they didn't feel overwhelmed. They just didn't talk about it. But even ancient peoples felt pulled and stretched, even to the ends of their ropes by life. One place we have evidence of that in the Bible is in a book known as the Psalms. The Psalms are full of expressed, deep emotions. In fact, the writers of the Psalms were brutally honest about their feelings. And about a third of the Psalms are bitter laments, collective and personal. And in those laments, they didn't hold back. If they felt like God had betrayed them, they said so. If they felt like a worm, they said so. If they really kind of wanted their enemies' faces rubbed in the dirt, they said so. And the psalm for reflection for today, Psalm 42, is one where we find words of alienation and abandonment. Phrases like, day and night, my tears are my only food. I'm deeply discouraged. Why must my enemies mistreat me and make me so sad? Even my bones feel pain. Everyone can tell that something is wrong, to the point that they're asking me, where's my God? Among the most vivid images is that of being parched, dry, thirsty. And there are lots of phrases that speak to feeling disconnected from God and God's people. Remember when I used to celebrate and process with everyone? When we shared God's feast together, celebrating all of us together? Ah, indeed. Even if I didn't relate to anything else, I can certainly relate to that. The last time we came together for church in person at Trinity was March 15th. That's 5 months ago. And like the psalmist, we've been looking for alternative places to lift our spirits, restore our lives, contemplate mystery. And we can say and truly believe that there are other ways to be God's church in the world. But it's also true that we've lost something valuable in not being able to come to the church on a Sunday morning, have coffee and sing and pray and listen for the wisdom and encourage one another, mix with people of other generations, other kinds of social bubbles that even before COVID we assigned ourselves to. Well, one of the insights we receive from the Psalms is not to be afraid of our negative feelings. People have survived these feelings for centuries, and so can we. It's by acknowledging and working through those feelings that we can restore our spirits once more. As that other more famous psalm reminds us, walking through the valley of the shadow. And in this psalm, we find a process for working it through. When we can be honest about how we're feeling, we can address it in ourselves. As they say, tears that are not shed don't go away. It's part of the foundational principles of many 12-step groups that when we simply share our story in a safe space, even the raw and the uncomfortable and scary parts. It opens us up to wisdom we already have inside, faith that we already hold, and this allows us to access it. And you can see it happening in the psalm. There's a whole conversation that moves back and forth between doubt and faith and discouragement and hope. I'm so discouraged. I don't know how long I can take it. But why am I down in the dumps? Because I know that when I fix my eyes on God, I feel better. When God feels so far away and silent, can I let deep call to deep? When I look out at the created world, I know that God is there. And when I feel overwhelmed and flooded, I remind myself to hope. I find a way to carry on. Well, what's the conversation you are having with God in your life right now? Or the conversation you need to have with God? When you are feeling discouraged, alone, or thirsty, where do you find the water to refresh your spirit? Especially in this world where things have gotten so complicated. How do you express your deep pain? Where do you find real comfort? We can easily turn to things that aren't that helpful, aren't that restorative. I've learned, for example, that sitting in front of a television may help me escape for a while, may entertain me, or even teach me, but it doesn't give me actual rest. But I make do with that when what I need is rest. I think we do that with a lot of things in our lives. Substitute something quick or easy, or that seems quick and easy, for the thing we really need. It's sort of actually like watching TV or a movie, when we willingly submit ourselves into a trance, a pleasant illusion, if you will, to experience the story that's being told. Well, we do that in our lives too, but maybe not knowingly or as willingly. We engage in life patterns that define for us what is important or necessary or urgent. And so, if I feel thirsty, my habit might be to go for food or soda instead of water, which is exactly what would stop me from being thirsty. So too with my spiritual thirst, I think. It's easy for me to think that attending to my spiritual resources isn't quite as important as the other things in my life, or to think that my old patterns are the only way I can connect with the larger reality. Only I know, inside, there still are ways to pray. There are still ways to connect with God and God's people. We can be the church, whether or not we are currently going to church. Faith is still there for us. We can find ways to help us carry on. So, if 2020 has or is taxing your spirit, if at times you find yourself worried or discouraged, that's okay. You're not alone. And if you wonder when or how things are going to change, that's okay. You are not alone. And if you are looking for ways to restore your spirit, keep looking. Have the conversation. Trust that God is there and will help you find a way forward. Amen.